Okay, good morning, class. You are welcome to today's class. So I'm going to be taking you the use of English and communication. This is a very important course to every other courses that you are going to be taking through this webinar. So I want you to pay attention because our official language is English language. That is why I said that this very particular course is very important to every other courses that you are going to be taking. So we are going to start with listening and enabling skills. I know to some of you, you've gone past some of these topics, but we are just going to quickly look at them each. So we're going to be looking at listening, enabling skills, listening and comprehending, listening comprehension, and note taking. And we have what we call note taking and note making. You are going to be looking at the difference between note taking and note making because a lot of people don't know the difference between note taking and note making. And if you listen to me, I didn't say listening. I said listen, listening. So the first topic here says listening enabling skill. Very important. So from the way I produce the listening, as in listen, you discover that the T there is what? A silence. So we have effective reading, skimming and scanning, reading and comprehending at varying speed levels 1, reading and comprehending at varying speed level 2. We're also going to look at reading for vocabulary development, reading for vocabulary development in various academic contexts, reading diverse texts. That's we're going to be looking at narrative text and expository text. Now, we're going to be closing with public speaking, principles and techniques, as well as presentation. So, you know, in JPTS, we do have what we call term paper defense. So, for those of you in 100 level now, get set. By the time you get to your 200 level, you are going to be doing what is called term paper defense. Now, the art of public speaking that I'm going to be taking you here is going to really help you. So, when you are face to face with your lecturer, defending your papers, you will know what to do, you know what to say, and you'll be able to comport yourself very well. So this course will help you in other courses. So now let's move straight to what listening enabling skill is all about. Listening is the process of paying concentrated attention. I didn't say attention, I said attention to what is heard, with the main aim of identifying correctly the incoming statement and receiving information or message. Don't forget, we have very key word here, concentrated attention. So you cannot claim you are listening if you are not paying concentrated attention. Now, as we speak, for you to be able to enjoy this webinar that is ongoing, to some of you, this is your first experience learning online that JPTS is giving to you. So it's not enough for you to just log in. You need to pay what is called concentrated attention to all your courses. So as you log in, please maintain decorum. Let there be absolute quietness around you. Now, if you are able to do that, you are already putting to use what is called listening skills. Because if you don't pay attention, there is no how that you will be able to what? Listen attentively. And if you cannot listen and concentrate effectively to a particular information or message that is being passed across to you, there is no how you will be able to get the message. So it will only turn out to become a mess. instead of a message, it will become a noise. And don't forget that even the deaf can listen. Peradventure, they can see. I am not saying the blind. Even the blind can also listen. Now that you are deaf, through science and all that, they can be carried along. So if you are deaf, you still listen to sign languages. You listen to sign languages, even if you are deaf. You have your sight. You have your sight, only that you cannot hear. But that you cannot hear, how do you listen? You listen to sign languages, even to those that are what? That are deaf. Now, listening, so don't forget that. And it may also focuses on what? Words, sentences. For good listening to take place, the correct environment must be provided. The correct environment must be what? Must be provided. There must not be any form of interference or distraction. Very important. So please, as you to listen to all the lectures, please don't forget this particular topic that talks about listening, enabling. Listen. Where must we listen? When we're talking about listening, number one, you listen to day-to-day activities. As we speak now, there are a lot of news going on every day through the TV, through the radio station. There is need for you to listen, because if you don't pay good attention to what is being said, there's every likelihood that if you want to repeat or pass across the same information to another person, you might be passing across wrong information. That is why this is very important. It's one of the reasons why you must what? Listen, because of the day-to-day activities. Number two, you listen to your friends, to your parents. Very important, whether in your local language or in the in English language, you listen. Number three, why do we listen? Well, when you are lost and you want to find a new place, you actually listen to what? To direction. There are a lot of us, you are driving and you get to a particular point, you are trying to ask someone to direct you to the next place that you are going to. But we see a lot of people, while asking people, they keep driving. You are not listening to the person talking to you. So by the time you move an inch, you are lost again, because there is someone that actually wanted to help you the other time, but you refuse to what? To listen to him. So the third reasons why we listen is because we will listen to direction. Now, and I want to quickly move to the following requirements. The things I'm going to be mentioning now are requirements that are very important when it comes to what? Listening. And the first one is a functioning ears. You need a functioning ears to be able to listen attentively. Number two, you need what? Concentration. I've talked about that. And then number three, you need ability to be able to what? Carry along, to be able to work along with what? With the speaker. Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, I said we are also going to be looking at listening and then comprehending. So, listening is closely related to what? To comprehension. Very important. So, listening is useless if there's no word comprehension. If you are not comprehending, listening is useless. So you listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while listening. Please don't forget this. Let me say it again. You listen to comprehend, and you comprehend while what? Listening. So this session exposes you to the relationship between listening and what? and comprehending. So let's look at this now. In order to comprehend, you should do the following. Number one, listen attentively. Number two, follow the speaker. Number three, possess a wide range of vocabulary related to the subject being discussed. Very important. And then number four here, recognize general speech pattern and major speech divisions such as introduction, main body of the speech, transactional clues, change of ideas, shift of emphasis, summary, including remarks. Now, put your experience of the word to bear on the topic. Please, while listening, you must put your experience of the world to bear on the topic. If you talk about pandemic, for instance, now, what do you know about pandemic before now? So you must be able to quickly think about some of the things you know about what? Pandemic in the time past. And another thing is you must be able to show interest in the topic. So we say in order to comprehend, you should be able to what? Show interest on the topic. You must be able to show interest. So if you don't have interest in this particular topic, there is no how you will be able to comprehend whatever the lecturer will be teaching you. So you must be able to comprehend. We also have listening, comprehending, and note-taking. So as you are comprehending, you must be able to what? Take notes. And we have note-taking and note-making. There are two different things. You can know how to take notes, but you don't know how to make notes. So some people cannot distinguish between note-taking and note-making. So in most cases, we use the two interchangeably, but they are two different things. So the two terms to such people can be used interchangeably. In this unit, we distinguish between note-taking and note-making. We take note-taking to mean taking notes from lectures. Do you get that now? Note-taking means taking notes from lectures. Like what I'm doing now, I expect you to have your pen and your book beside you. You are expected to have what? Your pen and your book. So as the lecture is ongoing, you do what? You take notes. Each time you listen to the news, something that is going to be of benefit to you, you take notes. Anytime you are going to the class, the physical class, you are expected to what? To be there with your pen and a book, at least to take notes. You are not, your brain is not a computer. Even computer, everything in computer is being programmed. You need this to be able to, for the sake of what? Note taking. So we, however, see note-making as an activity done during studying time. So you make notes from your textbooks. Just look at it now. You make notes from your what? From your textbooks, journal, articles, or study what? Text. So you make notes from all these things. You make notes from all these things. As you read, you make notes. You do your personal studies, you make notes. It's different from what? Note taking. So Before I proceed, I want us to put this into practice now. Like I said, I expected that you should have your what? Your pen and a book with you. So we want to demonstrate something now. So let me give you this assignment that must be submitted before the next class. So let us demonstrate something now, because I just finished taking you note taking and note making. So the first one, who is a listener? Please, I need an answer to this. Who is a listener? Number two, what is listening? I've been able to define that. What is listening? Number three, why do we have to listen? Why do we have to listen? Number four, list possible listening enabling skills that you know. List possible listening skills, enabling skills that you know. 5, what are the factors that hinder comprehending? What are the factors that hinder comprehending? Are we together? Okay. For the sake of those writing, I say, who is a listener? That's number 1. 2, what is listening? What is listening? 3, why do we have to listen? Why do we have to listen? Why do we have to listen? 4, list possible listening enabling skills that you know. And then 5, what are the factors that hinder comprehension? Comprehension. Please, wherever you are, I want you to produce this after me. If I say produce, I'm saying pronounce. So, comprehension. Comprehension. 6 now, differentiate between note taking and note making. I want you to differentiate that. Differentiate between note taking and note making. Yes, before I leave listening, please, it's important that you understand not just the alphabet of English language, but you need to understand the sounds of English language. What are the alphabet of English language? We talk about the A to what? To Z. But when we talk about the sounds of English language, we are talking about the I, E, A, O, U. Now, so many of us were not fortunate to have this good background from primary or even secondary school. But the children of nowadays, every school now teaches phonics. That's the right way of producing or pronouncing words correctly. It's very important because you are in JPTS International. We are preparing you for the global market. So you should be able to function globally, not just locally. We are preparing you for the world market, not just Nigerian market. So you must be able to take cognizance with all of this. Very important. So you must know the alphabet of English language, also have good understanding of the sounds. So under the sounds, you know we have the short E and we have the long E. Under the sound, we have and we have So a lot of you, W W-O-R-D. You produce it the same way as W-A-R-D. Word. No. So, with your ability to pronounce with the correct pronunciation, you don't need spelling, just like what I am doing to you now. If I have a board, it will be very important, assuming you can see. So assuming you are in the physical class. So you'll be able to know that the first one that has to do with speech is not being pronounced the same way as the second one, that is word, the one with W-A or W-O-R-L-D, the entire world. You've got the whole world in your hands. Whole world. It's different from word. So I believe you are taking notes. At the end of the day, you'll be making your own notes, which you'll be sending to me. You see now that everything is interwoven. Now you are taking notes from me. You later make your own notes, and then you submit your assignment. So you look at W-O-R-D, word. It's different from world, the entire world. It's important that we pay attention to this. Another thing I want to draw your attention to, because we are talking about listening. And if you don't have understanding of sounds, there is no how you'll be able to listen effectively. We have B-U-S, which normally you call boss, but it is not being pronounced as what? Boss. Because if you produce that, or if you pronounce that as boss, so how do you produce B-O-S-S? B-O-S-S is being pronounced as boss. You have a boss at your place of work, so you say my boss. So is it the same way you pronounce that you also pronounce the vehicle that conveys you from one point to another? So the vehicle that conveys you from one point to another is not being pronounced as bus, but what? Bus. Sharp up. Bus. So, for instance, can I say, Ade, can you please wait for me at the bus stop? Can you please wait for me at the bus stop? It's different from Ade, can you please wait for me at the bus stop? What is that? So under listening, so you confuse people if you cannot produce or pronounce with the what? With the correct diction, with the correct sounds. So please note that B-U-S is not being pronounced the same way as B-O-S-S. If not, you only continue to what? To spell, and there is no time. Like what I'm doing to you now, trying to spell. It's because I am teaching you, and you need to know the difference between the two. But in trying to communicate with people, you don't need to spell before they understand you. From your pronunciation, people should be able to get you. Don't bother yourself with the local factor, because that has really damaged our communication skill. You try to look at people that will make jest of you. So you refuse to produce, you refuse to pronounce words the correct way. Don't bother about them. And again, you need to write down W-O-R-D and W-O-R-L-D. They are two different things. And W-A-R-D. They are different things. So let's move to effective reading. Effective reading. Effective reading. So reading is the process that involves the interaction between what? The reader and the written material. Reading is a process that involves the interaction between the reader and the written material. So we have stages of reading. We have stages of reading. The first stage is the beginning stage. Here the reader looks at the reading material and attempt to pronounce the sound. Don't forget this. If you have your material now, you're supposed to be with your own material. Look at it. It says, the reader looks at the written material and attempts to pronounce the sound equivalent of the given word alphabet. Gradually, the reader goes over to words or word groups. That's from A to A plus T. That is at, 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 at. So we have group words or sentences with the aim of what? Identifying what they stand for in sound or meaning. You want to identify what they stand for and what? In sound and meaning. That's the first stage. We call it the beginning stage in reading. Those in kindergarten, nursery 1, nursery 2, all of them, they are this stage. So we have what is called the intermediate stage. The reader looks at a written text and attempts to identify the message contained in the material. So this is a little bit better than the first stage. The reader looks at a written text. Now the reader can read here. Can read. So he tries to what? Looks at a written text and attempts to identify the message. Makes attempt to what? To identify the message contained in the material. Now we have the fourth stage, which is the advanced stage. The reader examines the written text and explore his or her experience, the language skills. Now you are at the advanced stage. That is why I'm talking to you about communication skill. You are at the advanced stage. So you can't afford to play with words. You can't afford to pronounce words the same way a primary or secondary school will be pronouncing words. You need to, improve, come up, because you are at advanced stage now. So it's important. It's important. So we look at the importance of what? Reading. What are the importance of reading? People read to gain knowledge of what is around them. You read to gain knowledge of what is around you. Not only that, not being able to read is what? Is to be ignorant of the happenings or things that happens around you. If you are not able to read, it's not something that is good. So we're talking about importance of reading. Reading exposes you to various experiences of what? Life, and enrich your understanding of the world around you. Imagine if you don't know how to read by now, with all this instruction that is being given out. Don't touch your eyes, don't touch your nose. Imagine you are unable to read. How will you be able to cope at a time like this? If you are not able to read and you drive, how are you going to be able to get the signals and all that? So we are